Alpha Nerd Entertainment.
What is going on, guys? Steve here from Alpha Nerd Entertainment. Today I'm doing a no death run review of Tiny Toons Buster's Hidden Treasure, game released in 1993 by Konami. It is as if Konami drew inspiration from the Sonic the Hedgehog series and the Mario series. Specifically, Sonic 2 and Mario 3. Konami took those two games, smashed them together, took a good cartoon in Tiny Toons, and this is what you get. Nothing Konami does is ever half-assed. And this is a very good game. Definitely difficult for a first-time playthrough, but the more you play it, the more you play the levels, the more you understand its tricky spots, the easier it becomes. It's a very, very good game. The early stages here in the grasslands are like the grasslands in Mario 3, or Green Hill Zone in Sonic 1, or Emerald Hill Zone in Sonic 2. I don't know what it is about grass levels that just start games off in an easy way, and they ramp things up as they get into terrains that are, I guess, a little more dangerous, like mountains and caves. But I really do enjoy this game. I like the way it looks, I like the way it sounds. So let's talk about the graphics, let's talk about the sound, let's talk about the controls, and let's talk about the fun factor, and do the GamePro magazine review as we always do. Its graphics are good for 93. I almost say very good. They're not outstanding. There's definitely games from 93 that probably looked a little better, but it's still a somewhat early title. But it looks great. I'm going to give its graphics a 4 out of 5. They're not fantastic. I really do enjoy and like the colors used in this game. I really do. There's great color usage in this game. But it's very simplistic. The sprites look great. The sprites look like the characters from the show. But 4 out of 5 for me is a solid rating for the game. Its sound is a little bit lacking. Now, they take music from the show, put their own spin on it, and it fits in the game very well. The boss music starts off really good and gets a little kind of silly as it plays out, but it's based on a silly cartoon show that is based off of Looney Tune characters shrunk down and made junior size. So it fits the game, it's just not anything super outstanding and not exactly Konami's best work, but the music is still good. Particularly for me, I really, really like the lava stage music. I really do like the pirate ship level music, and the first level of the factory is a really catchy tune. It is good music, but I think 4 out of 5, just like the graphics, is a fair score. The controls are actually quite good. A little slippery, a little strange. The way Buster jumps, the longer you hold the button, the higher he jumps, the quicker you tap it, the shorter he hops. That could be perceived as strange or bad, but used correctly, it actually adds to the controls. The controls are actually quite nice. They're not perfect. Buster does have a slide attack, which is really good. His full sprint is quite good, and his vertical and horizontal jump is very good also. Again, just a little odd with the wall jumping, which is another great mechanism that the game offers. But it is still a little sketchy because it can be exploited by speedrunners who are able to use that wall jump in a way that it necessarily wasn't intended to be used. Though it is intended to be used in a agile way. I'm going to give the controls also a 4 out of 5. Looking pretty good with 4s across the board here. The fun factor to me is where this game really hits home and where the nostalgia comes into play for me. When I rented this game, its difficulty was really engaging. I felt really rewarded as a kid to get through some of its difficult levels, and I kept wanting to push and persist and persevere through the level and through the game. As a kid, I only rented it, so I didn't own it, so I never did beat it as a kid. But when I got older and found it in the early 2000s, I also didn't beat it. I just got further. It wasn't until about 2012 when I was like, hey, I gotta close this chapter of Tiny Toons in my life and beat this game. And I discovered that it was pretty tough when I actually sat down and tried to beat it, as at that time a 31-year-old man. Actually 30, in 2012 I was 30. So, yeah, and I was happy to beat it. I was surprised by its difficulty and some of the challenges that I faced when getting through this game. I love the forest level. There's a lot of subtle nuance in this game that goes underappreciated, and for me it's a lot of the backdrops. In the level previews, you can actually see the grasslands in the background as you exit the grasslands and move your way into the forest. The background in the first forest level isn't quite as dense and thick. As you make your way into the second forest level here, it's much thicker, it's much more dense, and I like that attention to detail that some might not even notice. The fun factor for me is a 5 out of 5 in this game. It's engaging level design, it's fun, it's fair, there are hearts scattered throughout the levels, there are bells you can collect that add to your life bar for a maximum 5. Once you die once, you do lose those additional hit points, but it's another game that rewards you for playing well. I love games that do that. I love games that reward you for essentially beating it without dying, and this is one of those. I wish I gave you 6 hearts to make it a little bit easier, but I think that might be too easy then. 5 is fair. 5 is the amount of hits the boss takes, and there's a boss fight I have later on where I do really poorly, and it's a real shot for shot with Hampton, and it's basically a race to who can hit who first 5 times, and I just beat Hampton. So I like that they provide that extra couple hits, because you can lose them as quick as you get them. So now we're going to call up little beepers. Something I wanted to do in this playthrough is you do have these extra little attacks you can find throughout the game. As quick as little beeper is, as quick as he's gone. That's the only little beeper I'll use throughout the game, and it was unnecessary to use it, but I wanted to use him just to have him make an appearance in the game. I didn't use him as well as I could, and maybe not the best spot, but I wanted to have him make an appearance. Those attacks are kind of pointless. They could save you in a pinch. If you're down to 1 hit and you come into a spot where there's a lot of enemies and you got one of those, use it. They're screen clearing attacks. One thing I like doing in this game is when you have a couple hits to spare, you can kind of just run through certain spots, damage boost through certain spots. So I feel this is a very speedrun friendly game, and I'm going to give a shout out to 21 Sandwich for selecting this game in my recent speedrun challenge, because it caused me to revisit it, reignited my love for the game, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, great pick. When he selected it, I was stoked because I love this game. I have a lot of history with this game. And seeing as I pushed myself more in recent years to kind of excel at games than I did years previous, it was a great game to revisit and try to No Death Run. And I really did find it a good choice on his part for the speedrun challenge, because it's a very speedrun friendly game. There's a lot of areas you can mess up when attempting to speedrun it, but it's a game that plays smooth, fast. Almost as if it's designed to be played fast, kind of like Sonic and Mario. But all 3 of those games play well, slow also. So I missed out on talking about Dizzy the Devil. He's stage 1 boss. I like him as a character. I liked him in the show. I like all these characters. They're just miniature versions of my favorite characters. Here we got Calamity Coyote, which is a miniature version of Wile E. Coyote. And I just loved Looney Tunes growing up, and Tiny Toons was just a welcome show from Warner Brothers that I instantly was going to love, because I still love the original Looney Tunes more, obviously, because they're the OG Looney Tunes, but these characters are great too, and they're all original. They're not like Buster Bunny isn't miniature Bugs Bunny. Dizzy Devil isn't miniature Taz. They're their own individual characters, but they're almost like they're kids, if you will. Cave level. I love the look of the cave level. Probably some of my favorite levels in the game. I enjoy the music, but I love the backgrounds of this level. There's a reason I selected the cave levels for the thumbnail. I love the way that turquoise water looks in the background. I love the particular level design in these caves and in the lava levels. Just really good stuff as I collect a free man there and make use of that wall jump. That can be tricky to use properly, but like any game, you play it a little bit, you start to adapt to its controls, you start to understand its controls better. This game rocks. And I do have to give 21 credit, huge props for selecting it in the speedrun challenge, because it did cause me to revisit this. So because of him, this No Death Run on my channel happened. If he didn't select it, I probably wouldn't have revisited it as soon as I did. Now, I always wanted to no death run this game. I just didn't think it was entirely possible. In my previous experience with it, I still considered it a challenging game, to the point where a 1cc would be more practical. But speedrunning definitely increased my gaming skill. As we come up to it, did. Speedrunning definitely has increased my gaming skill, and I think it'll increase anyone's gaming skill. And it was that confidence I got that made me want to do the no death run. As we bring in Sneezer! Go, Sneezer! I made good use of Sneezer as he blows all those frogs off the screen. Again, not necessary, but just wanted to include Sneezer in the no death run. As we reach Go-Go the Dodo. I like Go-Go the Dodo. He's cool. He's actually based off an original Looney Tunes character from way back. A character I'm not overly familiar with. But just this cartoon pays great homage to the original Looney Tunes. This game pays great tribute to the show. Even though the game itself here is you seek Buster's hidden treasure, which is kind of like an Indiana Jones Uncharted style story, doesn't fit well with the cartoon, like say Buster Bust Loose on Super Nintendo, which takes place in Acme Acres High, which definitely follows the show a lot more closely. This adventure, for me, makes for a much better game. And yeah, like I could go on for another 30 minutes on what makes this game so fun and enjoyable, but definitely a tough no death run. And like I said, I always wanted to NDR this game. I just didn't think it was possible. But because of the speedrun challenges, learning to speedrun definitely has made me a better gamer, because the difference between no death running and speedrunning is the margin for error is much greater in a no death run. The only fear you face in a no death run is that impending death, which again, you can still speedrun and die because they're two separate challenges. But in speedrunning, you're going for that fastest line. And when I got really good doing my fastest line for the first 8 levels in this game, I started to understand its controls a lot better than I would have expected. And I thought to myself, if I can master these first 8 levels, but some of them are still challenging levels. It's not like the first 8 levels are just necessarily easy. They can kill you just as easy as the later levels. But when I realized I could master them as well as I did, and go as fast and as smooth as well as I did, I understood that I mastered the controls, therefore it was in me to master the later levels, and therefore do the no death run in a game that a lot of people would consider is really easy to die. But like any game, practice makes perfect, and the no death run was definitely no Golden Axe. I'll say that again. I don't care. Golden Axe NDR was harder than a lot of my no death runs. And I don't do crazy hard no death runs like, say, Omega Ace's Silver Surfer, or, you know, Mega Dan's Battletoads, or, you know, Maz and Powers, Ghost and Goblins, or even many of Mr. Matthews' Mega Man NDRs, which to me are all much harder no death runs. But anyone who plays this game is going to know that this is still a tough no death run. But what I like about it more than just being a tough no death run is that it was a fun no death run. You know, there's that big debate. Gaming should be fun. And yes, sometimes challenging yourself and making things harder can be fun. Sometimes harder games are more fun because they actually reward you by beating them. Easy games are very forgettable because they're just too easy. Desert Demolition, for example, was an early no-death run of mine. I only did it just because I was new to no-death runs, and I was trying to think of games that I could no-death run without killing myself. But that game's a forgettable game because it is so easy. Unlike this game, which is quite challenging. So the no-death run in this was engaging, fun, and rewarding. That's a part of why I do gaming, to challenge myself, and sometimes create challenges to challenge others. I like being a part of the retro community, even though it can annoy me at times. It's a great community because we're all like-minded people who all like the same thing. 8 and 16-bit games, even 5th generation games, that is N64 and PS1. There is definitely something special about growing up in the early years of gaming and getting to appreciate its more simpler times compared to where gaming is nowadays. Something I don't quite love the way I did then. Could be me getting older, could be modern gaming just getting kind of generic and repetitious. But the simplisticness of 2D side-scrollers, for me, will always be among my favorite games. As we face Plucky Duck now, let's talk about Tiny Toons a little more. I love Plucky Duck. He's a smart alecky little douchebag, just like his father, Daffy Duck. I don't know if his dad is Daffy, but he's not just a miniature version of Daffy Duck, though he's a miniature version of Daffy Duck. He's still his own guy, and he's still his own asshole. And I used to love how he Buster's balls, because he kind of... Him and Buster had a rivalry on the show. Love the backdrop here. I love that they chose this particular scene in the caves for the boss fight, because they knew that it looked great. I do. I love that turquoise water, the two separate sized waterfalls in the background. Plucky, kind of an easy boss here. She's new. I think she's a created character for the show. Get in the comments and correct me if I'm wrong. If she was in the cartoon, then I don't remember her, but I like her. She's a nasty little scientist, brainwashing. That is the premise of the story. She has brainwashed all the fellow Toons here into causing trouble, working for her, and essentially coming after me. As I hop my way, is that a pun? Pun number 1 to the first lava level of the game. Like the music in this level particularly. It just has that metally kind of, and they make good use of the Genesis like fucking twang and like distortion and reverb. It just sounds Genesis, and it sounds Genesis in a good way. Backgrounds still look good here. It's still the same cave area. We're just deeper in the caves now. You know, no more water. Now we're in an area with lava and metal music with annoying little flame monsters. If you paid attention to what I did there, it's a good little trick on how to avoid them. But yeah, getting through can still be easier said than done. As I miss an opportunity to get the bell.
Oh well.
You can still get the bell, but it's awkward and not necessary. I still have 4 hearts, and I'm coming up to a spot with another heart.
We got another heart.
We got another heart. Now the wall jumping mechanic is a great mechanic in this game, and the wall jumping mechanic is used really well in this game because it is designed to be used in a game that, again, uses a lot of great particular level design. A lot of games back in the day were very stuck in the horizontal level design, where it was go from right to left and not much up and down. Now, this game is actually really unique in its start to end goal. It's not just left to right like Mario and Sonic. The exits, in this case of this level, has 2. And that's one thing I like about this game, is it has branching paths. Now, the paths bring you back to where you gotta go. It only adds extra levels. The reason I went this way is the next level is a short level. It's a tough level if you mess it up, but it's a quick level that I'm able to do relatively well, relatively consistently, and I still find it easier than the alternative choice. So you get 2 choices here, this level or a different level depending on how you complete that last level, and I prefer this path on my way to the next boss.
Very annoying.
That happens sometimes. Sometimes the hit detection's a little off. Hence why I gave the controls a 4, because hit detection is a part of controls. And sometimes that hit detection when jumping off the walls is a little shoddy too. Mind you, that could just be me not performing the inputs correctly, as the wall jumping is simple. Press towards whatever wall. The wall's to the left, press and hold to the left, and jump. If you let off the left a little too early, he's probably not going to perform that jump. Therefore, the mistake is in the gamer and not the game. But the hit detection on the enemy sometimes can be a little shoddy.
Shitty run of that, but I did it.
I mentioned that it's a shitty run of that, and it kind of was. I started the level off missing the enemies, which is something I don't normally do. And I missed a few hops in there along the way. Sometimes I just blast up there. Like, again, no death runners will know that a lot of our no death runs previous attempts where you die, you play better. I had so many runs where I aced this boss without being hit in like seconds. I had other runs where I failed, where I beat that previous level perfectly. But of course, those all resulted in a death. And didn't succeed in the no death run. So it's like, sometimes that average consistent play can be better than anything. As we face the obnoxious Plucky Duck once again. This level drove me nuts as a kid. I remember it was a Sunday night and the game was going back in the morning and I had to go to school. So I knew when I got home from school, I wasn't going to get to play it until the next time I rented it. And I was stuck on this level. This level was just kicking my ass. Oh, I couldn't keep bells as an 11-year-old kid, no. No. And I wasn't smart enough to avoid all the enemies. And I still don't know how to avoid that frog consistently. But I remember having to go to bed that Sunday night and knowing that this is where my run would end. I would keep my password and rent it again the next week to beat this level to get stuck on the pirate ship. And it was at that point I don't think I got to rent it ever again. But yeah, I like how the snowy mountains are in the background here because we're going to those snowy mountains very soon. And it's those subtle touches that I value and appreciate in these games. You know, some people might just think that's a random backdrop. It's not random. We're going there. We're going to those mountains. And those mountains suck. Those snow levels are annoying. The snow, you get stuck in it. You go too fast on it and you slip on it. But we're going to a level with probably my favorite music in the game. Catchy tune, great level. Kind of wish there was a second pirate ship level, but that wouldn't make much sense. Really wouldn't. You know, you're here on the pirate ship searching for that treasure. And to some degree, you might think this is near the end of the game because you're finding that hidden treasure. But no, the game continues on because this would be too short. This is essentially halfway through the game. Probably a little bit more than halfway, maybe 60% through, as I skillfully hop off that guy's weapon. Those ghosts that almost look like burrito ghosts can be pretty annoying. You can control their movement once you understand how they work. When you know the areas they are in, be careful about how you jump. So you can cause them to spawn, as I do here. I know to push forward there. Tricky shit. Tough level. It's a tough level. But not anymore. Alright, we found the treasure.
Fuck you, Montana Max.
Fuck you, Montana Max. I would read it, but, you know. I'm just playing to beat it. That's crazy that I actually did that while playing. And I didn't consciously choose to do that now. And now I'm going to have me singing the song twice. Hopefully I line it up perfectly so it goes, I like harmonize myself. So I just take my time with this boss. I could be more aggressive, but I'm pretty sure falling in that water results in an insta-death. So why risk it? I'm just going to wall hop, safely land on these enemies, and just easily get the job done.
Whoa.
I guess for somebody who struggles in the level previous, the ship itself, the hard part in the no death run would be getting here with enough life to pull off the victory, but I know both the level and the boss well enough that this part was never an issue. Now, I had many runs die in many different spots, but this level and this boss was never one of them.
Whoa, what the fuck?
And sadly, after my preparation, because obviously I always do preparation for an NDR, I practice the game, practice certain levels before I even turn on a camera and hit record. On my first actual attempt after preparation, I almost did it. And then after that, a lot of the runs just got shittier and shittier. But that level never took a life, nor did this one. This level could be hard if you hung around in the water and didn't know where to go. But that's one thing I like about this game. It makes you explore. This game is definitely big on the exploration because it's not just right to left. Exits can be top left, top right, bottom right. Some levels have multiple exits. So it definitely encourages you to search and explore. And I like games like that. Sonic 3 added a lot of particular level design to the Sonic series that was very welcomed by Sonic fans, and this game does it well. But when you know where to go, you can beat the level super quick and super easy. You can see my previous high score there, as that was a failed NDR attempt. So yeah, I just kind of want to recap what I graded the game in the GamePro magazine review. 4 graphics, 4 sound, 4 controls, and 5 fun factor. And I think that's a pretty damn fair score across the boards. It's definitely not perfect, but you know, for those who don't totally enjoy the game, it's probably because the game's tough on a first playthrough. But I always say I don't judge a game until I beat it 2 or 3 times, because the first one can make you hate games, because taking a beating can really ruin your experience. But I don't like when any game comes too easy. You know, I like a challenge. I don't like a game being too hard. And I don't like a game being unfair. But this game's not unfair, as I grab a bell there, which I don't need. But what I love about bells, when you have maximum, is if you're down to 1 hit and you find a bell, it replenishes your health completely. And I like that. The game's also generous with the hearts. Sometimes in tougher spots, they'll make you press through some tough spots to get to a heart. You know, or in this case, they put a bell at the earliest part of the level. So it's like, well, here's a bell, better make it last. So, you know, I really do believe this game was made by people that knew what they were doing. And I have a lot of respect for Konami. They made some of the very best games back in the day. You know, I've always been a big Sega guy. Sega has been known for making some of their games a bit too easy. Not all of them. Streets of Rage 3. Golden Axe is not an easy game. Golden Axe 2 is actually really hard. Golden Axe 3 is even harder. But you got games like Streets of Rage 2, super easy. Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic & Knuckles, all pretty easy games. Kid Chameleon, hard one. Comic Zone, another hard one. But Konami always made their games tough, but they always made them fair. And I'm just a big fan of their work. A much bigger fan of their work than Capcom. I hate to be that guy that shits all over Capcom, but I am one of those guys. And I get why people love Capcom, and I love a lot of Capcom games, but I have a love-hate relationship with them. As I collect another free man here, and not a Capcom game, but an awesome Konami game. Konami rocks. They do. They really, really do rock. Like, I don't know if they're my favorite, like Rocket Knight Adventures, Contra Hardcore, Super C. You know, the huge list of really good games. Turtles in Time, Hyperstone Heist, this game. Animaniacs for the Genesis is a really damn good game. And one thing I loved about Konami is they made different games for the Super and Sega. They weren't just lazy. They made separate games for separate consoles. I've never played Buster Bust Loose, but I've heard it's a good game. So it's like, if I like this, I bet you I'm going to like Buster Bust Loose. Animaniacs of Genesis is a great game. Hard, but a great game.
This is not necessary.
The Super Nintendo version is different. I bet you it's good. Batman Returns on SNES is a good game. Don't love it. Don't love it. Shoulda added Robin, even though he's not in the movie, just to make it multiplayer. Kind of a cheap game. It's a good game. Just basically Konami, is what they do is gold. Especially back in the day. Love the background here. Look at this. The way they chose to show those trees on that flat plane in the background really looks like you're up on a mountain. It looks far away. Those trees do look small, and you really do look like you're at some elevation of a couple thousand feet compared to those trees down below. I also like the effect on how it looks like the hill's rolling back up again. Like, you're up really high, it slopes down, and then what you're looking at slopes up a little bit. It just adds some nice depth. It's fucking great stuff, man. It's a hard level. Actually, no, this is an easy level. My apologies. The next level is a tough one, but I did complete the last level the way I did to get to this level, because you can do the previous level in two different ways. One way leads you to a very difficult, very obnoxious level. And the other way I did it leads you to this level, which isn't as bad. And now we got our last appearance. So we had Little Beeper make an appearance. We had Sneezer make an appearance. And now we got Concord Condor, who I'm going to use just to make him appear in the playthrough. Again, not necessary. I have full health right now, and I'm pretty sure there's 2 enemies left in the level that pose no threat to me, but I wanted this guy to show up in the playthrough. There he is. Drops an anvil for a screen clearing attack as I run my way to Dodo the Go-Go. You can go around. There's a bottom route to get to that same Go-Go, but it's a little bit harder, a little more unsafe, a lot more spikes. I don't like those insta-kill spikes. And yeah, this level coming up here has a lot of insta-kill spikes. And you gotta be careful on how you jump. See the way I'm moving right now? There's a reason I'm landing that way. This level reminds me a lot of the way the ice works in Valis 3. That if you have any forward momentum, hence walking quickly, you'll start to slide, and you'll slide right the fuck off of this. If I land and press D-pad forward, I'll slide right to my death. But if I land firm, just like in Valis 3, I'll stick in the snow, and I'll be locked in. Little things like that are super useful to know when understanding the gaming mechanics. Because you could be like, these controls suck. Because you're like, why do I stick firmly sometimes, and other times slide right off? Well, it's as simple as not knowing your D-pad is holding right versus not holding at all. And that's what makes gaming awesome to me. Is I think a great gamer once said, to truly understand the game, you got to know Death Run it. I don't disagree with that comment. You can understand the game without no Death Running it. You understand it even more if you speed run it. That's for damn sure. That perfect line is something special. And there's multiple great lines. Whether one's 20 seconds, whether, the world's fastest is 10 seconds faster than third place, it's like, they're both perfect lines. Even if they're done differently, who cares? They're perfect lines. And finding any perfect line, like, I could potentially go really fast here. But fuck that, I'm trying not to die. And that's what I like about the differences between speed running and no death running. I've really grown to appreciate both. There was a time where I thought no death running was stupid. There was a time where I thought speed running was stupid. But you got to keep an open mind to certain things and try new things. And I value what they both offer.
Right, noise?
Now, in the end, I'm going to prefer casually playing the game. Casually playing slow, exploring, dying, accepting everything that comes with it. Using continues, just casually playing will always be the most fun. But there's a different kind of fun to have in a no-death run and speed run. But here, I fucked this up. Watch. I've already missed 1 hit. I've already missed 2 hits.
Not a good start.
Now I've missed 3 hits. 1. I should have 4 now. Should have 5. I should have already won.
Really fucking awful start. I fucking hate this boss.
So lucky that didn't kill me. 4 apiece, 5-4.
Yes. Oh, I played so shit there. I was really expecting to die. I fucking hate that boss. Sometimes it's super easy, and it's just getting sucked by that vacuum is just, it sucks.
Pun number 2. Yep, getting sucked by that vacuum sucks. And that is pun number 2. Here's a cool little trick. If you don't want the free man, that's up to the left, you can ride this little robot all the way up and past these spikes. However, I get all the way up here and I fall all the way back down. At least I tried. I probably should have got off there or there. I should just got off there. But no, I'm like, I'm gonna keep riding this bitch to the top. And then somehow, because I'm riding it so high, I missed that jump.
Oh shit. Oh shit. That really blows. Like really, 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 really blows.
Great tune.
I can get my hit back, but all that shortcut just got wasted.
One of my favorite songs.
You know, that sucks.
So it's at this point in the playthrough I get a lot more chatty while playing. That could be for a couple of reasons. One, I often play better when I used to play with a friend.
Here's what it
Like,
is.
even if he was just in the same room, if he just have a conversation with me, it's like his conversation would distract me enough to focus really well. So I don't know if I just subconsciously start talking to myself a little bit because I know I play better with that little bit of chit chat. But I also know it has a little bit to do with nerves. I know the end is near and the pressure's on. So I'm going to more watch than talk at this point. Cheap spikes.
That sucks.
Hidden heart. Another hidden heart over here. It's generous.
Did you just fucking get up there?
Bam. Lucky. Electricity hit me before the spikes did. So the spikes weren't able to kill me because I was
Good
already
enough.
being hit by the electricity. Very lucky. And also an easy spot to get hit. Easy spot to get by,
Good enough.
but easy spot to get hit by the spikes too if you're not careful. Just super happy that that electricity guy, because even if he wasn't, because they go electric and non-electric, if he was non-electric and I bounced off of him, I would have bounced into those spikes, but he was electrocuting himself, hit me, the game couldn't hit me twice, so got lucky. Now these spikes I call thumbtack spikes. They're not insta-kill, they just take one hit. It's like they're short, so they don't kill you, but the long ones, they impale you. That's the logic I go with when trying to understand why long spikes insta-kill you and these ones only take but one hit. It's just like, ow! Stepped on a thumbtack, opposed to say, stepping on, like, I don't know, a sword, falling off and, oh, impaling yourself. Obvious secret. I think everyone knows about this. Bell I don't need, but would replenish health. Free man I don't need, but I'll take it anyways.
Are you serious?
BS.
I don't approve of being hit there. No!
Lucky! Almost crushed.
Almost got crushed.
There is another way you can come around to go the Adodo there. But the way I went, for me, is just the easiest and most logical path. Hey, technically last level before 2 bosses. See how I fucked up that wall jump and it fell back down? Earlier in the level there were spikes, like right here. If I were to mess up this wall jump and fall back down, I would die. So you gotta be careful with those wall jumps. Now this I do amazing. This might be the first time I get past all this electricity without being hit. So I'm glad that made it into the no death run. That's some beautiful platforming right there. Usually that beautiful platforming comes on failed NDRs. But that is literally the first time I've ever got through that without taking a single hit. whimsical music.
I could have went, but whatever.
What do they make in this factory? Obstacle courses? It's like a big wipeout challenge. You know the show Wipeout?
Okay, that was excellent.
That was excellent. Don't stand on that ball too far to the right or you'll hit that spike. You can go down there. Spring will bring you right back up. There's a nice bell there to the left if you need it. That activates the red panels in the next room. So it's essentially go time here. Elmira's pretty easy,
Okay, now it's go time.
but you miss time one of your jumps or jump too close to her when you try to hop over her. You gotta make sure you get a good distance over her, because again, if you just like touch her hair, she's gonna fucking nab you. So it's like, as easy as it is when you know what to do, you can still quite easily lose a life to Elmira. Or if you jump too close to her as well. Just don't let her touch you. Now, obviously, I think everyone who's ever played this game, myself included, all thought you had to run full tilt. Run! Run! It's Elmira! Run! And you try to jump and you just smack into the wall. No, I remember when I discovered that, because I just kept losing. And I was like, man, I just was like, luck got me through my first time. And I thought there has to be a different way to do this. Just memorizing it and timing those lucky jumps cannot be the way to do this. So I just got curious. After I beat the game, I played it again. Because I did, my first time doing that.
Let's go! Let's go!
It's over.
That's in the bag, baby. I might take a hit or two here, but I'm not sweating it. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. I got this, boss, in the bag. No need to stress. Let's go.
Let's go!
Yes.
This boss is easy
Thanks for
peasy
watching
lemon
my
squeezy.
No Death Run.
Especially with the strat.
Of Tiny Toons Buster's Hidden Treasure on the Sega Genesis.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Let's go. Let's go. I fucking love this game. A childhood favorite. Never had the privilege of owning it. Yeah, like I said, Max may hit me 3 times. Unlikely.
He got it.
You're done, Max. All the hard parts are over.
Hampton.
Yeah!
Riskiness of Elmira.
No Death Run, the Tiny Toons Buster's Hidden Treasure on the Sega Genesis by Konami, 1993. Fucking awesome game. Never, ever, ever would expect it I would have beaten it without dying. You
That's
promised to let Babs, Bunny, and the others go. And what about the treasure? Well, as they say, finders keepers. Yeah! Darn, 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 that treasure is mine. Let's use the treasure to turn the island into an amusement park. Not a bad idea. That is a great idea. Now it's time to party, Buster style.
Talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching.
Where's the sequel? They should have made a sequel where you have like a bunch of sweet mini games at the amusement park on the island. Alright, there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching my no death run of this, guys. This game's awesome. There's a lot of nostalgia, and I'll obviously put commentary over the top as I play throughout the game, but if I'm busy talking about the levels, I'll just repeat it now while the credits are rolling. You know, there's a lot of games from our youth that we love and adore, but this was one of those special games like Quackshot that you'll see people in the community having videos like games you wish you had growing up. And this and Quackshot were games I really wanted to own in like 93 when I was only, 11 years old. And amongst the great titles that I did own, those two games, this one here, was not one of them I owned. So when I rented it, there was like this desire to want to play it every minute because you only had it for a limited time, and however many times, you know, mom and dad would rent it for you. And as a kid, I think I only ever got to the pirate ship. I remember getting past the waterfall stage was a nightmare. But the pirate stage, the ship was like where it came to an end. And I think I only ever rented it, 3 or 4 times, before I moved on to another game, or, my sister or dad were like, hey, okay, you rented that one enough, let's try a new game. But yes, because of never getting to own it, much like Quackshot, it was that much desired game I always wanted to play, and I fucking love it. And that's it. The end. That's all, folks.